Welcome to this Way to Fire YouTube video, where today we are going to look at the GCPS Mule Armoured Personnel Carrier and the Plague variant. This is a little bit more fiddly than some of the flyers or bigger vehicles actually. So probably get this wrong as we make this, but it is a nice little model, and I'll show you a finished example when we get around to it. So this is the standard GCPS version. So what we need to do is we need to start off by building it, of course. Now this is going to be the front canopy, and then there's going to be this part on the back. So this part on the back is where the troops will stand, obviously. And you can see it fits together very nicely. Put these side panels on, another side panel there, and you can see already it's starting to look like a vehicle, isn't it? There are some side pieces. I think I've put these on alright. I think I have put them on right. It's whether I've forgotten anything important in the order of doing them. I don't think so, but we'll find out in a second. No, it's okay there. That's not the right way around though, is it? Is it the right way around? I feel like that feels like the right way around. There we go. Yes, of course it is. Okay, so that on there, that on there. And then you can see we're almost there. I have forgotten this door, but the door just goes in separately. So there's nothing to see in there, so you do want that door on. And you can just push it in and glue it on there. There is... The reason we haven't glued these is much like on the Hornet, there's a door that you can potentially have open should you wish, which I guess is more if you were going to model this as a sort of diorama rather than use it for gameplay. And again, this is just dry fitting all of this, so if there are any bits, there we go. So yeah, so you could take that down as a step, but again, probably only for static sort of things if you built a diorama. Okay, and that's mostly it. You'll notice there are wheels missing. So the wheels come with like a central bit to go inside the wheel itself. So you have to push these into here, which is a bit of a fiddle, to be honest. You could warm them up because these are sort of soft PVC plastic. So that would be a way of getting them in more easily than me pushing like this. So you can get them in alright, but he says they're not being able to do it. But anyway, you'll have to trust me. So the wheels go nicely and fit in here. What is a little bit fiddly is that there are, on this one, this front one, there are some slightly more fiddly bits in the way that these, for both the front and back wheels, how they go on with these bogies or something, aren't they? So here's one, so we'll put that one on there. Just making it fall apart on the previous bits, because we haven't glued it, of course. So I would take some time, suggest taking some time. So you'll see underneath here that there's this bit and a small hole under there. So you put that on and you push it up there, and that's actually where the wheel attaches. Okay, and then obviously this bit goes on the top there. So it is fine. You just if you don't spot it, you can lead yourself awry a little bit. And the same on the front actually. It also is a little bit more fiddly on the front than you might initially think. So what you have here, you see these small holes. You've got these two areas here that you need to put those bits on. See underneath here, that makes sense, sorry. Okay, and then you're actually then having to put this other piece in as well. I'll try to fiddle it. So I'll show you more clearly up here. So these two bits, this bit goes inside here. Okay, and then that goes into, there's a hole under here where this one goes into, and then that rectangular hole on the front goes onto there, And then that's where the second wheel will go in. But of course there's something missing from the front, and what's missing is it's like the bull bars part. So you put that on here, and there is this part on the front of the mule itself. You'll see, it'll make more sense when I show you the finished one. Now the only other bits that are also a bit fiddly are, there are these like safety rails which come up along here, this way I should say. The small hole there pushes into a gap there and then up onto here, so they're like bars for the soldiers to hang on. There's two of those. And then there are a few different weapon options as well. So you can have, I had the laser cannon, which has to have an extra piece put in at the back for some reason. No idea quite why. Well, it couldn't have been made as one, but you've got this laser gun, so you put that second bit on. And then you can also have this version as well, which does come with some additional shields, which you also have to put on, which is again is a bit of a faff, unfortunately. And again another piece at the back, so you can change the two weapons. What is a bit weird about this is that the models that you would normally get, the GCPS models, are too short to actually fire this gun. The ones from say Star Saga are a little bit better in height, so that's a bit weird. I don't think that was necessarily planned as well as might have been thought, but I guess it doesn't matter. I mean, you don't need to put the troops on there, and it is open back, so you know, why would you necessarily put troops firing the guns? You can just have them lying around or not even put them on at all. But yeah, so there's a few fiddly bits on this one for sure, including another little fiddly bit I even forgot. So under here there is a third fiddly bit which goes between these two bits here, which I have in my hand right there. So you can see that there are some fiddly little bits. So, like with the GCPS Hornet and the Plague variant, it is basically the same with a few extra bits though for the Plague. So, if we go back to our vehicle that I've partially built here, so this is the base, and this bit's generic. I've put the wheels on, which are a faff, it has to be said. And I've said before about these things underneath being quite complicated. They really are actually. I'm not quite sure why they need to be as complicated. Even these bits here, these upright ones with the springs, it makes a difference if it's on the left or the right, so look carefully when you build your own. So anyway, here we are. So we'll put the Plague bits on. You get another beaten up front, so we can just change in the Plague front canopy, as it were. That leaves us with the two sides, so you've got Plague specific sides with more battle damage on them, which actually look really quite nice. They should fit on very easily. There's a little bit of, yeah, they have to fit together into some gaps, so it's slightly different from the other one. And again, this side, a little bit more damage, and a door open as well. Now, I don't know why you want the door open, but you can have it open. You will notice as well that there is a hole up here, so there is a hatch which you could take off, I guess, if you wanted to, and have someone coming out of there. There is a different front. So you had the bull bars before. This time you have this different spiky front, which makes a lot more sense on the Mule than it did on the Hornet, which is weird to say the least. But on here you can see why you might want to have a bull bar thing on the front there. And also we have a door which we can put on to, you know, if we want that closed, we can just put that door, and I'll probably do that, to be honest, because I don't see the idea. It's not particularly visually attractive inside. We still have this gap, so that's the same door we had before. Just pop that in there. And then the only other things is there's a different weapon for on top. So rather than those other weapons that we had before, you've also got a HMG, which is a classic Plague weapon, which again you put up there, and again you have to put a blooming handle on the back, which is annoying. You can see these two little bits make up the one gun. And there's a couple of final bits. So there are some Ben-Hur style sived wheels, one for each of the wheels of course, which is quite nice. And then there's another corpse. I don't know why the Plague like to keep their corpses around, but they do. Not quite sure where you put this guy. Maybe put him on the roof. I'm not 100% sure. Maybe on the front or over here. I'm not 100% sure where he goes, where he best fits, but we'll work something out. And that is it. That is the Plague bit. So we'll come back in a second when it's fully built. And here are the two finished mules. We've got the GCPS version, which I've already started painting a while ago, but I'll get that finished. And you can see that, you know, that's quite nice, quite stocky, isn't it? It's sort of a nice chunky little vehicle. And then the Plague version here, which is basically the same, except we've got these blades on the wheels. You've got a different weapon, the HMG instead, and then you've got this battered canopy here with the two sides and the central cab, and then obviously the bull bar things on the front. And I've not bothered with the dead body that we had, but you have that as an option I guess as well. So yeah, those are the two mules, the GCPS one and the Plague one. And crash, bang. Who would win in a fight? Well, obviously the Plague one. I think we know that. But yeah, some nice little kits. A little bit fiddly to put together compared to some of the other ones, particularly on the underneath bits at the front here more than anything. Be careful when you put things together here, particularly on the back door as well, that you don't start gluing things before you've worked out that you need to fit that in. But they do go very, very quickly. You just need to plan it out a little bit more with this mule than you do with some of the flyers that we showed before on some of the other videos. Anyway, great. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you found this helpful. Please check out the Way to Fire podcast and the Way to Fire Facebook page. Listen out for our events. And of course, if you want to purchase any of these things, then please check out Black Dragon Miniatures, our company affiliate. Thanks very much, guys. Bye.